Kia ora, and welcome to today's episode of Light Lunch. Today I'm joined by Kane and Frank. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We'll start with you, Kane.
Hi, my name's Kane Armstrong. I'm the Managing Director of Focus Projects. We're a commercial construction company, and I've spent just over 16 years in the construction industry, joining as a quantity surveying cadet. And I've got 3 children that keep me plenty busy outside of work.
Lovely. Three must, be a lot.
Yes.
And Frank.
Hi, I'm Frank Bourke. I'm the General Manager of IR Group. We're a construction consultancy. Most of what we do is project management, but we also do architectural design and a bit of quantity surveying and some kind of general construction consulting as well. I guess I have been doing this for 6 or 7 years. Before that, I was on the tools doing carpentry. In my spare time, I can do one better than Kane. I got 4 kids, and that keeps me pretty busy in my spare time.
Gosh, I bet. That is, well done, you. All right, we are going to jump into a few questions now. Kane, what are you currently excited about at work? What's something going on at work that's really exciting?
We got quite an exciting project for us at the moment, which is sort of our first hospital fit out project. So although we've got people in our team who've done those types of projects before, it's really neat to be able to deliver it under the FPL banner. And that's been a bit of fortunate. We're originally seismic strengthening the building, and then the tenant that's gone in there as a hospital clinic. So that's quite exciting for us because it's just a lot more heavy service orientated, a lot of QA, a lot of process driven requirements, which is a challenge, but it's also an excitement for us. So it's neat for sort of us to demonstrate that skill set we have.
Yeah, cool. That's cool that like to go from just doing the beginning work to then going all the way through.
And it's quite neat because for the team, they're 2 different clients, the landlord versus the tenant, but we've been able to continue to see the whole project through, which has been quite exciting. So, because sometimes you kind of get to do half the job and then someone else comes in and does the tenant fit out. So it's been nice to actually have the continuity from start to finish.
Yeah, very cool. What about you, Frank? Something exciting going on at work?
Yeah, I think the thing that we're pretty focused on and excited about at the moment is we're doing a couple of sort of pilot new block builds, small block builds for the ministry for special needs classrooms or multi-classroom blocks. So they're relatively small, like between 200 and 300 square meters, but there's a real drive with the new government to bring the square meter rates down. So because we've been designing them, we're engaged as a designer, the PM and the QS on them. We've been able to work with the ministry on really keeping them really simple while still meeting. The ministry have higher design standards than just the building code, so we've got to tick all those boxes. But it's just focusing on delivering that value as much as we can, and we're hitting some really good square meter rates at the moment. We're halfway through 2 of those builds, so they're really cool because I think they represent perhaps a new way of doing things for the Ministry of Education, where they are focused on a balance of quality and cost.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, Kane, could you tell us about a lesson that you've learned at work that you could pass on to others?
It's always an interesting one because I think the industry is always changing. The lessons always change as well. But I think the one thing that is consistent is that there's always a challenge. And I think once you get comfortable with knowing there's always going to be a challenge, it's then easier to face it. And I think it's not sort of letting yourself be in a false sense of, cool, once we get over this one, then everything's fine. That can be a little tricky and challenging in itself. So it's kind of accepting that there's always going to be something that will challenge you.
And I think once you might be just advice for life.
Yeah, and I think once you kind of get used to that, it means whatever does come through the door next, you don't feel as surprised, and you can kind of be in a different mindset to to sort of work your way through it. So it's kind of a weird one. It's almost not a direct answer, but I think it is more applicable to just what you have to face on a daily basis.
Yeah, nice. Totally cool. What about you, Frank? A lesson you've learnt?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think I want to say something I've picked up last year in a project we were running was how we were able to work really collaboratively with a contractor to change the design quite significantly, kind of halfway through a build, and it was a really good outcome for the client. And so, and that required some real collaboration, really listening to the contractor and understanding what they were, why they were suggesting what they were. Part of it is having, so I guess the lesson is like listening to the contractors, but it's having a good contractor in at the table in the first place. Like if you've got someone there you can trust, and you're building a project team where you trust all the people, the consultants and the contractors in there, I think you can make it a much more collaborative project and process. That makes sense?
Yeah. So trusting each other and working together well.
Yeah, setting yourself up for, I suppose, setting your project team up to create an environment where it is really open and there is a lot of trust. And I think the first step of that is bringing on quality people with good experience. In the case I'm thinking of, it was a dramatic improvement to the end result for very little cost, really. So it was a huge win.
Oh, cool. All right. What is something you do to keep in balance towards better mental health and well-being, either at work, after work? How about you, Kane?
Yeah, I think the old sort of three-legged stool is applicable in the sense that there's sort of got to be, you got your work life, family life, and then for me it's sports. And I think I really feel like if I'm not getting enough time in either of those spaces, the mental stress does kind of pile on. So yeah, exercise. I love triathlons. That's sort of where I've ended up at the moment, and that's challenging me in other ways, but definitely an outlet. And I can feel that if I don't get those opportunities to go for a run, go for a bike, do that activity, yeah, it gives you thinking time as well, and it helps digest the day's problems.
Do you take your 3 children on these sporting endeavours, or do they stay home?
Sometimes. So we've got my oldest, she's 6, and we're just about to do the Weet-Bix Kids Triathlon coming up. So that's quite neat because I think I'm enjoying trying to be her coach.
Yeah, nice.
And sort of lead the way in that. So yeah,
it helps to tie it all in, doesn't it, as well, if the whole family gets involved.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's real neat to see that.
Oh, and Frank, what about you?
I had a teacher who used to have an art teacher, I think he was, and he used to have like a door he'd taken off the hinges, he'd put up against a wall, and he just used to punch holes in it. So that could be a good outlet. No, I think it's the American podcasts are all over it, right? It's like the 3, exercise, sleep, and diet. I think are the, like, if you can get those things right, I think you're 90% of the way there. Which isn't always easy when you've got a whole lot of kids and heaps of work. I'm trying to exercise, 3 or 4 times a week. I got a meditation app I use. I really like that. I think that's quite cool. It's just 10 minutes a day, and try and squeeze it in at the end of the day most days. I don't know. It's just the general basic things. I think if you can sleep, you can get some sleep. That's a big thing, but it's a huge thing, right? It's good we're talking about it because, geez, I'm sure everyone knows someone who's had some pretty significant episode or event, so it's a good thing to be talking about.
Yes. So sorry, Frank, how old are your children?
They are 9, 7, 5 and 3.
So they do sleep. That's good.
They do sometimes sleep. Yeah.
I have a 6-month-old, so we're still, or 7-month-old, so we're still working out the sleep thing. 7 months and 3 years, so yeah, the sleep's
No,
still
you're doing it way tougher.
in the trenches. They're actually really good sleepers. I should have won. All right. What about someone who's influenced you in your career or personal life or both, Kane?
Yeah, I've been fortunate to work with some pretty awesome colleagues and bosses and stuff. Um, a big driver for me was wanting to have ownership in a business, and I think that boils down to my father having my mum and my father both having ownership in a business and watching them start that in our house and then grow it to be a sizable business and then successfully sell it as well, which I think is some of the harder parts of business. That's been quite inspirational, and that's I think been a big influence on me. Sort of having ownership and trying to run a business. And I enjoy that.
Yes, totally. And what about you, Frank?
There's probably a few people from like a bit of a previous life. Before I did the first 10 years of my career, I was working in financial technology in a small company that's grown to be a very, very big company. And that was really exciting to be part of, working with some really clever and hardworking, talented people. There was a woman there who was the CTO for a period, Kate, and she was amazing. I was fortunate enough to work quite closely with her on a whole lot of things. She was very, very hard nosed and would push people, would push people hard, but was also just really, really helpful in very practical ways. And I always I kind of hark back to those days sometimes and think about those types of people and someone like her and the way she was would push people hard, but was very practically helpful. And I think that allowed me to develop quite quickly. And so trying to apply those types of things to the people I'm dealing with now is good, I think.
Yeah, nice. Good. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today. Hopefully we can see some awards entries this year from both of your companies, which will be nice. As a reminder, the awards are going to be in Wellington at Tarkina on the 8th of August. So hopefully we'll see you both there. And yeah, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks, Chloe. Sounds good.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Chloe.
See ya.